Ness beats on the track.
Yeah.
Ness beats on the track.
I want to say good night, ladies and gents. We are live right now. Welcome to the chat. I'm your host, Alpine. Tonight in the studio, we're going to be vibing, you know? I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend, wonderful week. Yeah, man, definitely.
Yes. Peace out to one another. Hopefully you all join the chat.
Yeah. So ladies and gents, we are live right now. You're listening to Skunk HTV. This program is called The Chat. And right now we got some people in the studio. How you doing? What's your name, Sadi?
Yeah, this is Satsak tuning in the Skunk House.
Beats on the track.
Yeah, man, definitely, man. So how was your week, man?
It was all good, you know.
Yeah.
It's good to be here the second time around.
Definitely. So what you did? Anything special or?
No, nothing special, you know.
Okay.
So what tonight's topic is gonna be? Just waiting for you to launch the topic. We are on the pod.
Yeah, brother, we get to that, you know. There's more time for that, you know. But that's a start right now. You understand me? Yeah, man. So definitely, man. So, and then my next guest in the studio, you go by the name of Glasses, man. How you doing, man?
Yes, man. Greetings in the name of the Most High.
Definitely.
It's the last verse. Find the volition and in certain sentiments, and it's gonna always be like that.
He was one of them. He's definitely one of them. He would have owned slaves back then. Though there are the good old days according to him. He would like to bring back those days. That's what I think, my opinion still. Really.
Well, you may be right about that, but
Maybe.
conditions doesn't, allow him to do that. So, as much as he might want to do that, he's not going to be able to do that. It won't be.
Well,
It's not going to happen.
Well, I would say it's not permitted nowadays, but the way he talks, but he would like to be living in those days. He would have definitely be one of those guys. Yes, I do believe so deep. But you can't do it nowadays. I don't know if you ever heard the news. He met with Captain Ibrahim Traore in Burkina Faso. Did you know that he paid a visit? Have you?
No, I'm not privy.
You heard of it?
No, I'm not privy of it.
Okay. I saw it this morning. He paid a visit. With his appearance, he was welcomed courteously down there by the captain, and they had their private talk in which he complimented him on what he's doing. surprised he had the guts to do that. I mean, when somebody stand up sometime and confront the evil in front of them, then you normally would get that kind of response. Because it doesn't sound like how he's behaving. And I really think, would you agree that this is the time where the diaspora will really look forward to migrating back to the motherland? I would think the time has come. What about you?
Well, my opinion, I think people migrate for different reasons, The main one is everybody wants a better living and everybody wants money.
Money is. What is money if you ain't got no freedom? Which one? They cry for freedom or money. Which one is it?
Well, when we say people migrate for money and for better upgrade their living conditions, we have to think about that in a very broad context. A lot of times, what we see happening is a situation where this is something that's created, where you have to leave. It's not because people want to leave, but it's because a situation has been created where you have to leave, where there is like a global, systematic ideology to disrupt the economies of other countries, so they have to leave to come to other countries. Now, if that wasn't the case, then most people wouldn't leave. So there's an economic disparity that is deliberately orchestrated and organized for this kind of a migration to happen.
Right. So you agree? People leave their environment for either a situation that happens or better living, correct?
Yes, but what we want to understand is the underlying concept that causes that. That's what I'm trying to drive at.
Okay.
Why people leave.
You're driving at the car.
Because take Jamaica, for instance. I've experienced, I've lived in Jamaica and seen where we had leaders who tried to make living conditions, try to put in place systems that would better serve the greater good of Jamaicans. And we see outside entities playing an instrumental role in undermining and tearing down the efforts. So what we have now in Jamaica is the residual effect, the residual insidious effect of the efforts of the outside entities. What's happening there now is mainly the blame on those entities, outside entities. And when that happens, then what we have is a situation where people can come in and capitalize on the havoc, mayhem, and dismay that exists.
Which is the playbook of colonialism and democracy.
And at the bottom of it, it all stems from capitalism.
Yeah. They work hand in hand.
We have to understand how those things work and how they play out and how they affect people in every way, every facet of their lives, across the board, globally.
Yeah. Ism and schism. Them ism and them schism. Babylon and them scratches. Not stop, not have nothing. Not have nothing. Until we put an end to it. When I say can we fight it? I think at the time it's coming now for diaspora to wake up. What I would want to really ask, if there's a choice of the motherland, where else would you turn? If you would have turned to the motherland, turn to the land. Because the birdland is like jumping out of frying pan.
Well, where the motherland is concerned, motherland has to assert herself, and the motherland has a responsibility to assert herself in a certain way where she can defend herself. If you can't defend yourself, you can't talk to her.
So if not now, when?
Well, we see where there's a move in certain areas, and we see it slowly kind of coming together, but it's a little too slow for my liking.
Well, the thing is this, Darla. You ever hear about, I believe in putting the shoulder to it. And wait for the ready done. And you know where we are come from years of early Marcus, start the fight and start. The son of the Abeng was founded in the island, from the island of Jamaica. And reggae music was one of the instruments of
Freedom.
freedom. There you go. Right word, put it in my mouth. Yes. And I think it is the time for us to go back with the music and chant Long Babylon until them submit, because they are near to the point where it seems to me some change, some brand new flavor is in the air, and him name Ibrahim Traore. And if you never know, now you know. Because this brother man is totally awesome. He's doing things that really, you have to read. When you remember from back in the mind, elders of this repatriation song, singing then without melody, they were seeing these songs that is now of today happening. It's happening. So if not, my brothers and sisters, I figure now is the time for us all to get up. Stand up. Stand up because it seems like Babylon. To me, it's worth trying. The fight is worth it. I know if it's an open fight, resist. Because ain't no use fighting here. Here is not the time, is not the place. Because I don't feel that. I don't feel. The promised land is Africa, not America.
Well, the whole world is Africa, though I don't really like to refer to it as Africa. Africa is not the original name.
Land of
You know, but like I said, Africa has to, or the motherland has to assert herself militarily, and then you can liberate your people all over the world. And I do not ascribe to the concept of repartition, because a man should live wherever he wants to live and enjoy the same social amenities, civil and human amenities as any man. So I don't see us running away and saying, well, we have to go back. No, the world is was live. But yes, we have a part to play in the construction. But it all has to do with the motherland. If they take a page out of the American playbook, they understand. They could use it. The United States was brought together. 50 states under one umbrella, one government, one currency. Now, Africa is very splintered and fractured. Too many different umbrellas until they can come together in solidarity, together as one government.
Diaspora of his people.
Then we can start to say, we can assert ourselves where we can start to root out some of these imposters from out of the land, taking control of the resource. Because the Berlin Conference, I think it was in 1854, quite sure, but they divided up the motherland among them. And from that time, they've been sucking, like anaconda, taking resource. Africa is the most richest continent, and yet it languishes in poverty. Why is that?
Because they cut a deal for themselves. Like such leaders, they don't care about everybody else. They are on top. They are at the top of the barrel. King crabs. That's what they are. They call themselves leaders, but they are dealers, not really leaders. They cut deals with the supermasses, the colonies. They cut deals for themselves and that's all. So this captain, Right Honorable Ibrahim Traore, he leads this way now and he's showing the way, and what he's doing is magnificent. And if this goes on, we are all aboard, because I'm behind 100%, and I would think if you just look at what he's doing and what he's saying and what he has to offer, then I think we could do it. It won't be a fleeting illusion no more. Because he might demand respect, and he's getting it. He's getting it in his way. Even to this day, the last thing he did, and it's there for us to see. He's gonna put rice at everybody's table. And I believe he can do it. Yes, he can do it. As he shows that, yes, he is capable of doing it.
But it's also going to take the rest of it.
They will fall in, trust me, they will fall
Another
in.
continent to come and join into this
Yes, they will fall in.
exclusively.
They will fall in. They will fall in line. You know, it takes a rogue, it takes a rogue to head lead, to go the right or the wrong way. Just take one rogue. And before you know it, if it's a herd, a buffalo or a herd, any herd, it takes one to kick off, and everybody follow. You see one way captain I do? The captain do good and good will follow. You know what I mean? Guys, you see, all of them put all of them to shame. All of them waited for 19 all long. little man, you sit on a one bench and a one himself. Have this and the king crab them. You hear them say crab in a barrel, but them a king crab them, they are on top of the barrel. They are not in it. King crab, you call them. Just a one bench and them do where they want. Oh, long them look what youth, what this youth do in such a short time. So why can't we all see? Come on.
How long now he been in power?
Since 20.
So far he has developed the country.
They have done so wondrous work as this brother man perform. One son, Mama Africa, have named Father Abraham. You know what I'm saying? And he's doing it. And they are seen on secondly behind him, Ethiopia. Ethiopia, the Prime Minister is now. He's doing wonderful work too. So anytime now, is the momentum is here. And trust me, there's gonna be a new sheriff in town.
What I would like to see where that is concerned is a continental summit where leaders come together and iron out and figure out how best to approach the situation. Like you said, there have been people there, for 20, 30 years who only embellish their own pockets. And we see where, some youths rise up now and it's turning the table. And that is great. What we want to see that. I think it's maybe 54 countries in Africa or 74 countries. I'm not sure. And we want to see everybody act in concert.
Yes. That would be the
Establish.
That would be the Jubilee.
Establish a system where, like I said, one military, one law, one currency. Take a page out of the United States playbook.
Yes. Yes.
And then we, because
It can happen.
if we're not together collectively, put aside the ego and the, machoism. That is why America fought the Civil War. To maintain the unity of the United States, or else it could not have risen to its, what they call, greatness today.
Well, the trumpet has sound, and the trumpet sound push people in the direction of unity. Because the hand blow and the hand blow, people don't like hear it sound, and the whole world don't like how it sound. So, because of that momentum, out of a bad situation, I think something good will come out of it, and the good which will come out of it is unity. Of the children of Negros, the nation of Negros shall unite. Negus and Nagas. I, Negro, rule Africa. It's going to happen. The prophecy has prophesied. Now is the time for it to come to pass. Marcus Garvey word shall come to pass. It shall come to pass. No more fleeting illusion. It's time. And I was thinking from from the time, early 90s, when Nelson Mandela broke the chain and was freed. That was the calling. That was the sign that he said, anything is possible. I would, and still have that feeling. Now I go against it. You know what I mean? Black people, stand up. Get up, stand up. Run them, make them come. Anyway, them there, run them, make them come. Mama Africa. Run them. Mama Africa, call. Can't take the pressure in the back. Babylon now have nothing to offer you. More than disrespect. And when Father turned the table, he always tell you, the stone that the builder refuses shall always be the cornerstone. And the children of Negos were always treated in the worst way. For so long, more than 500 years. It has to stop. It has to stop. Don't think God not sleep. God not sleep.
So what do you think that we need to do as a people?
Unite.
Unite.
Unite. UNITY. That is all. Stop force and fight into one another and unite, come together under one banner. Don't wait till you're back against the wall and you try and talk. So many times it happens, so many times at a time now. Them little man, we are laughing at one seat and them reach. Where them are going, them have them this and them that 1 and 2, 3, 4, house and 4, 5, 6. Them days it done. You them no want to see youths nowadays over there don't want to see that now.
So let me ask you a question. Where do you think unity start from the top or the bottom?
Anyway, it start. It just take one person to show the way, to lead in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
Do good and good will follow. Continue, do good. The right honorable Ibrahim Traore.
Yeah.
I demand that.
One that.
Yes.
Okay.
So and all who don't like it, come bite it. Because he is the man. He is the youth doing it. And I'm not the only one who see it. The answer is all those who sit in their high places.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking, but trust me, they know. They have no choice. They want to either you exit or you join the line. But guess what now? You see, when somebody do something wrong, and them know them deep in them wrong, give them a try look cover now, because them know so them already sell out, them sell them soul. And them can't get back them soul because them already sell it, so they don't know what to do. Either you step off a chair, move out of the way. You know them song where them say move bitch, get out of the way. You know that song?
Right.
That them off. Get out of the way, I promise. And it come happen just as long as we pressure them. Pressure them. Whether them from Guyana, run them and them come. Them come from Suriname, run them and them come. Them come from Brazil, run them and them come. Them come from Jamaica, run them and them come. Them come from Barbados, run them, make them come. If them come from Trinidad, run them, make them come. Grenada, run them, make them come. Anywhere them there, run them, make them come. Mama Africa calling them children.
Glasses, so you agree with that?
Virgin express his opinion.
Run them, make them come. Who don't want to come stay there?
Yeah. My opinion more radical, you know? Because you don't take self-discipline.
Well, the discipline, the leader is disciplined. Remember, you know, we don't like hear the calling, and there's a road prepared.
Right.
Gone. There are many have gone through the valley before us to pave the way.
Yeah.
So for us to return, the way has to be paved. And it's already paved. It's already paved.
So we just need to come
We
together.
just need to come now, because this one. The way through Africa is through the Caribbean. Don't think say you have to go in Europe. No. It's through the Caribbean. Yes, so just like Father Marcus Mosiah, the 7 miles of Black Star Line may not get there, but there are other ways and means to get there. There is so many talent. So many talents. Father, you are rivaling children have. Mama Africa have so many talents. You imagine? Everybody worry about gas car and electric car. Oh, what about the kid in Zimbabwe? You don't have to sell Babylon a car. Make a car run out. You don't need them. They have to come back. They have to bow. They coming back begging. Oh, please let me in the flat. You can't give me please. No, you ain't coming back. Go ahead. You should have known what you did. Over the 500 years, now we come back. No, you can't turn back. Not to say black people are one of the most loving people on this earth. Give away freedom. We don't need both. You don't have to take revenge. We are not revengeful people. Our vengeance is mine. Yet the Lord God of hosts. The thing is this, the vengeance is the freedom. That is vengeful enough.
Right.
Look what you do. You know it's sweet, you know, say, well, then why? Look what's happening. And I don't have to trouble you. You could have the whole world you want. This you reverse for your neighbors. And when the worst come and your neighbor still standing, what you gonna do? How you gonna feel?
You know, wish arm against someone.
No, treat people the way how you wanted to be treated. And you know what? They know. Black people ain't vicious the way they feel. Vicious. Black people are taking go to 200 people one time. You ever see that happen? Look how they use brush and paint like they are demons. Anyway, that's their card. We need my deal for that. Father not sleep. And he's for the just and the unjust. So, Rastafari, so long. Mama Africa card, so long. A time now. Yes, man. Yes. Come in, man. Everything done there now.
Right.
Land done there.
Right.
This street can't be lined with gold if I gold you want. If a diamond you want it down there. So what more? You cannot be word. Take word. And give him Mama Africa. And guess what? We are the 1985. Africa is the world. We are the world. We are the children. Oh, pandemic. And I suck out the blood of the country and leave people like that. And then come with the scratches and the contracts I give people, knowing that don't mean nothing. Nothing what you said don't mean nothing. You give and take. You give a man today and take it. And force everybody to go. You said one turnover like a foolish cow. You give a bucket of milk and turn around. Telling us about your crutches. Don't them. You shot them. The Constitution. And you don't mean what you say.
Right.
All the Constitution. What? There was a one time he said he want to live in a peace. And he had the wall. He put a tank in there. And say he want to live in a peace. Water, so he built a big tank. He want water. And you don't know what no. He want to water in the yard. And he said he want to live in a peace. He can't live in a peace. Every minute. Bring you some water. And I said, no. Yes, with it. I might go for a guy who wants to drink water. I have to learn something.
They told him a Papa show.
Yeah, him told himself tonight.
I'm told this.
Yes. I go believe big and water. My king.
Okay. Right.
Time of water. When them come water.
Better him never build the tongue.
So man. Let them choose who they want. You see them for who they are. Leave them.
Yeah, of course.
So when we are there, when we are to go, where we want to go in the yard? You think they won't stop the way they do? You think they might go stop? Man.
I must say, no. Everyone entitled to
Your emotions.
yes, they interpret things. I have my own personal, vibration as to, the problems that faces us and how we should go about to try to resolve them. Because Marcus Garvey said we are men.
Yeah.
And we must try to be one step ahead of them at all times. We should be walking around on our head. So my feeling about those situations is that, like I said, I keep reiterating, Africa has to assert herself. If she's going to take her rightful place. And we see countries that have done that have gotten the respect. Because power is not something that is given. Power is
Taken.
taken.
Yes. So I believe in Father Abraham. And when I go read what I'm really trying to say, I understand the way you're saying it. But I would, yes, Africa, no. The rulers, some guys who are the puppets in Africa, they have to be called out. They use them from those territories. They have to make sure who they are voting to represent them. If them see they represent good, or them represent evil. So anyway, where the bad leadership is, you got to root them out. Now is the time to root them out. So we from the diaspora rally the youth them who is living in the territory where those leaders are, who are harboring people who disrespect Africa, harboring the system, who are puppet for that system of governance. They have to call them, because everybody is not the same. This trial it's going somewhere, and it's gonna pass through the world. So you have to be ready. The youth them have to be ready. Get rid of those sick old men who have no dream. Them with 14 and 20 wives and 3, 4, 5 mansions in a different. Get rid of them. They are no good. You know, make sense to have them holding down the rest of the country and harboring all of the sick. Harboring them illicit move, them harbor bad things in the country, so you have to get rid of them. Get them out of the way. They have to move out of the way. Captain Ibrahim is ready. Can't you see, you know, smell where I cook? The man saying don't put rice in every country, and it hurt. Really? And then go visit it. Rice grain by every table. For free. You want to tell me I remember him back in the days. Joseph is same Pharaoh in Egypt. When there was no card, no famine. You remember the famine? And Joseph go down there, hotel, prepare 7 years worth of planting,
Right.
and 7 years. Yeah. It's manifested so easy. It just takes one person to start with the right.
Well, I'm careful with one person scenario, you know. One person narrative.
No, a
because-
leader. When I say one person, I didn't say he knows, he's just paving the way. That's what I mean. As one hand can't clap, you can't do it by yourself. Show the way. Whenever possible, somebody that knows really, and everybody follow. That's what I read. And the thing is this, if this one person not leading you to doom, then go for it. Because I'm right about now. You have 3 brothers beside him, ready, and everybody will follow. And Ethiopia is right here. And as bad as them paint Bolshevik, he is good enough and he knows the truth. He releasing the truth for so long. He's telling them.
Which one of the African countries he's in? The guy that you're talking about, the guy that's in the military, one that's doing so much for his country?
Oh,
Which
that's
one?
Burkina Faso.
So which one of the African countries he's in?
Burkina Faso.
Which one of the African countries he's in?
Is he in?
Yeah.
His country is Burkina Faso.
Okay. That's the name of the country.
Yes, you thought
Okay.
it was somebody's name is Ibrahim Traore. Right, excellent, honorable Ibrahim. Father Ibrahim.
Okay.
The first,
Okay.
the black lion,
Okay.
not the one from the tribe of Judah.
No.
And he's not the Black Panther, the real black lion. So
Okay.
take up. Lion of Judah, the lion. Yeah.
Yes, and applaud him.
Thank you. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother.
Intrepid move because
Yes.
men like those with art.
Yes.
But like I said, it can't be just him. Because when it's one of us,
They come.
it's easy to be targeted and to be taken out. And we've seen history has shown it where each time we have one person that steps up to enlighten and to try to help to liberate your people and to enlighten them in consciousness of self, where that person is targeted. We have a number that we can call Marcus Garvey, one of the first men to be deported from the United States on trumped up charges of fraud.
Yes.
Mandela spent 20-something years in
Yes.
prison. Martin Luther King being assassinated. Malcolm X. We see a number of people. Each time Bob Marley's one of them too.
Yes.
Who tried to enlighten people. And he was one of the most feared too, you believe it or not.
Yes. Time use the music as his weapon.
Yes, and people were gravitating to music.
Mm.
They warned him and said, you know, you gotta stop this, you know, Bobby, stop. We gotta talk about good night to beat them, and, you know. Yes, because we see where, you know, brothers and sisters from all races was coming together as one.
Him whooping the slave
And
master's
no,
son.
this one is really
Yeah.
dangerous.
Him whooping the
You know,
slave master's
it's a
son.
threat to what we represent is a conflict of interest here. So they say, well, you got to go, you know. So it's going to be collectively. Like I said, the motherland, they have to follow suit and they have to be, just keep the momentum going and really solidarity. Expel these imposters, because like I said, the Berlin conference, you know, came in and divided up Africa between them, and they took it, and they're not going to give it up easily. They're not going to give it up easily. We have to be ready. But in order to keep the fight going, we have a lot of responsibility on our hands, because a lot of younger people, even in this hemisphere, doesn't know what their responsibilities are. You know, in relation to the perpetual fight that we're in, and we don't realize that we're in a perpetual war, because we're under military domination. And to get out from under that, we have to educate, the youths. They are the only weapons that we have. And we have to prepare them. Not so much just militarily, but educationally, with knowledge on how to go about this fight. Because it's a fight to the death, and we have to prepare to fight it. Let's see what happens. We're doing our part here and trying to bring some consciousness through this medium.
Yeah,
Getting
this,
some feedback.
yeah, this woman in Namibia, she become the woman president in Namibia. You heard of her? This lady in Namibia, she become the new female president in Namibia. And she is 100% Iran. So one by one, as the days go by, they are falling
Please.
in cancer because they don't have anything else to do. Because these brothers make them look like they are their own. For so long, they are there. Yes, if you want to do take over. So the battle that he has to do, sometimes you have to go the wrong way to make a point, a positive point. when I say wrong, in the opposite, take an attitude.
Yeah, call it, you on the air.
Yeah. Big up Skunk House Radio, you don't know how the thing said.
Alright.
Yo, big up the partners in the house. I can hardly hear y'all, but yo, you gotta fix up the thing. You already know. I hear it's coming now. Is that Major I hear in the background? Yo, the Major, big up yourself. I know I didn't catch the beginning of the show. I just started listening. But fix up the thing. I hear y'all talking, though. Going in and out. You're ready. But big up Skunk House all day. Al Payne, he doesn't know how the thing said.
Alright.
Going out here. You ready?
Alright.
Big up Pitbull.
Alright, big up yourself, Trini. Thanks for calling, man. Alright.
We're ready. So do your thing. You already know it's love out here.
Alright, my G.
You ready? One.
Yeah, man. So yes, my brother. The lady from Namibia. That's the country.
This is Namibia, Namibia.
What's her name again?
I'm not sure.
Yes. She had some good points. I mean, the United Nations, a body of people, they are rigged against Africa. Why? Why is the world rigged against Africa? Only one Caucasian country stand up to Africa, Russia, the one where they hate so much, but he always seems to do right by people. I don't know. I don't like to get into that politics. Wow. Right is right, wrong is wrong. And if you have a fight and somebody stand up with you, you cannot back off and let the person who stand up to fight you fight go at the front. You have to front your battles. You know what I'm saying?
The United Nations, when you talk about the United Nations, who runs the United Nations?
Rigged against Baba Black Sheep.
Is that the end of it?
Yeah.
One person's claim, one country's claim dominance as far as the United Nations is concerned.
Master.
Yeah.
Bakra, Boki Master.
So in actuality, there's really no United Nations.
Look.
Just a quasi,
Yes.
form of United Nations.
God Almighty. There's so much gold them take out of Africa. You want to say there's so much gold come out of Africa? No, you want to me if you work my money, I'm going to give it to our next man to keep my money. So when you want $1, I have to go ask somebody. That don't make no sense. What kind of thing? Would you take up my money now and go give I'll cross the ocean and cross the sea? What kind of sense? What sense does that make? What sense does that make? That coming like that a gangsterism, man. That shit down, you have to pay your dues. Come here. How much you get paid? Give me what right. Next week, the same thing. Year after year, for 400 a year, you take from me.
And that's a suck your joint.
Yeah.
Wow.
And when we talk now, yeah, come talk about you will kill me. A gangster thing that, man.
Right.
A gangster thing that no good, man. That no good. You know?
Mm-hmm.
No, that no good at all. You dig up all that gold, take it and carry it, yeah. Come put it in. Say you want to see for you, yeah. Who are going to come take it from me? Why me can't keep my thing? Oh, you have to give me a key card and boy, we come take it from you. No, me I keep my thing, let them come.
I try to save it from yourself.
So you rush and say, you know, that going to see it's different. So one papaya, defend yourself.
Mm.
So you are paying that man, say that man no more. That man I tell me, say, defend yourself and keep your thing in your yard. Defend yourself. When they come, give them.
Right.
Show them the kind of reception they will get when they come knock your door.
Mm-hmm.
I bet say them not come back. But they keep on and take and nothing ain't happening. Take, and they eat at them so that's why they did it. What's your name? The farmer diplomat.
Okay.
Chikambori.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah. She have the real funny boy the man and tell him some man, no line on bars. I want to know. We go on a man and someone a man give up. Now no fruit, you know the way they go and make man walk over and take with them water and walk out. Man come your yard and take them water and walk out and let you drive. And they come go like you're a man with big guy driving big man. You don't know man, you're an idiot. And that don't make no sense.
Right.
Oh, you make a man come in your yard, come take away all of your resources. When you want something, you want to buy something, you can't go buy it. See?
How are you going to stop him?
Because I am giving power, say no one tap him, I am making gang. Oh, that the man make me can't buy one man chat. And your yard, everybody else in your yard. Ah, the man dead for hungry. Oh, me can't tap him, can't tap him. I need that. Me have me jet. And me have me 3 Lamborghini. This and that. At least me get something. Me get something out of it. Man, you know good. You know. You're selling out. Selling out your people for your own selfish game. And when you're dead, you can't carry that good nowhere. 6 foot 6 you get, you're not getting nothing where you buy now going right there. Where does it make sense? You try to gain the world and lose the soul, because that's what's going to happen. So the youth them don't know, not going for it. They need answers. The youth them nowadays, they need answer. And they know right from wrong. You can't blame you. You can't understand those that were before us. We were there short ahead, but them have the longest days ahead of them. They ain't gonna take it. Just somehow, somewhere, there's gonna be a clash. Wow, man. I have to stop, man. I have to stop.
There's a need for liberation. People have to find the strength and the will to liberate themselves. And we must remember that we always have to go back to history. Look at Haiti. Haiti was the first country to fight the revolution. Called the French. 1804, and how they did it. They had to find the strength of will, they had to find a way to do it. These countries in Africa have to find a way to uproot, these imposters and get rid of, the con artists, that they have acting here. Praxis, and take things into control. And then not only then, it can't be just a one country thing like Burkina Faso. It can't be just a one country, it has to be across the board.
Well, it's not one no more, it's 3 now. It's 3 now. So 3 gone, 2 more go to the one. Chad, Mali, and Niger is going that way. Ghana seems like it's going that way too. So, there are more. It'll take a little while, but it will manifest. Because the more he progress, is the more eyes are open. Now,
Well, it's surprising that even a country like Nigeria, which has the largest concentration of people of African ancestry, hasn't followed suit.
Because he's one of the puppets. What's his name? He's one of them, and you have to call him out. From the diaspora, we have to call them out so they know we don't. Because if you don't, we never call out Buta Mandela, wouldn't free her now. Reggae was the vehicle that called out President Buta. The great Cocottine was one of the first singers who sing a song, say, Buta, get out. And see, till Cocottine was one of the first reggae singers.
True.
Well, he called against Buta.
Yeah. Remember that, true.
So you have to use the music and chant them. Just like when you see Bob chant them, you have to use the music to spread the negative message and spread the right message. Call all of the entertainers. Stop talking about nonsense and chant on Babylon no higher. Make we do something for Mama Africa. Announce the cartoon storybook that don't work. Do something with your voice, man. Send the right note according to the singer, man. Give me the right note. You know, send the right message across the globe. Because the music is powerful. You can use the music to chant them down to the foundation according to Dennis Brown. They will have to go down to the foundation. So when I come from the foundation, them have to go run. Because the fire going to be hot. And if them not move with the movement, they have to move out of the way. One thing, man, the music, remember the music liberate. It liberate countries in Africa. Now if you reevaluate the whole of Africa, Mother Africa are crying. So use the music to do the right work by the music. The people, for the diaspora, for the African continent. A full time. To do it again. You do it already, do it again. Because without the music, Mandela would be rotting in jail. And we use the music to free Mandela. We can't use the music to free Mother Africa. Just touch up the tone, man. Touch up the tone, man. You know, see it? And cry out. You know, see it? So long, Mama Africa call. You know, see it? Now when we reach the mainland, when we touch the mainland, with the music, you know what it's going to be? Would you like to see the Jubilee? But you can't go with the wrong message. The wrong message is not going to take you there. We have to go in unison with the music and chant down, chant the way in, let them release the chain. Chant down the United Nations, them a fuckery. They rig it against African people. Because no African country have a seat at the table. Why? That's why they treat black people so all over the world. Nowhere you go, you don't get no respect. Because there's no representative. And that's wrong.
Right.
Now, if we know wake up the people them and make them know. So we are not no nation. What are we? Yes, we are the children of Negos. We have a voice. We have a voice, and if we don't talk, they're not going to ease up because we not talk. We don't have nobody defending us at the United Nations. We need a voice at the United Nations.
No one can
and
stand up for us, right?
if you don't have no one around the table standing up for you, what do you think will happen? And it's been happening For more than 3 years now, it's been happening. We can't take it no longer. It's not supposed to happen.
True.
And if you sit back and don't speak up, closed mouth don't get fed. You see how the big man at the back and talk and when him see the captain, him change him tone. Can't see a man, a youth with a bands, afraid I look him in the eye and say yes. And I respect that. I really recognize really. All the while when them say a black man, them always say, know your place. God, them used to, where them here. Little bit of boy, them just born there and they'll tell you, you're a big man, I call you boy, know your place. God, them a ride after them used to feel. That way, that time of one time gone. Them days there, these youths ain't going for it. So we want representatives at the United Nations. We are part. Then the whole of Africa. Because they are a bunch of hypocrites. Yeah, you come take out gold. You take gold, you take diamond, you take iron, and then you take cash. And then you don't want to give them a seat on it. Man, kick over the table, man. It don't make sense. All land is gonna rain like that. For too long, bro. For too long.
Suffering too long.
Time to black people stand up. And don't stand up for them crutches. We don't stand up for no democracy, we are stand up for Africa. For Kuna no democracy. God are the same one, and they are two of the same kind. Anyway you turn democracy, they are liars, they are a bunch of demagogues, and say what suit them now. And then tomorrow them change them tone and do what they want to do.
Right.
And give a piece of paper named Constitution on your side. No longer there. They don't see. Yes, he said they don't mean nothing. Nothing that they say as meaning. Don't mean nothing. Don't believe them. So Mama Africa, they're not them crutches. Let them keep them crutches. Keep on the democracy. Lord of mercy, dog of fast. Give up Babylon and democracy. Let them keep it.
We talk about United Nations. Remember that His Majesty had addressed United Nations. Remember what he said? So, I always remember these things.
Yeah.
Because they're pertinent to what's going on right now. As a matter of fact, that time it was League of Nations.
Yeah.
And then after, I think, 1945, they changed it to the United Nations.
Yeah.
But he did warn them and tell them, until they start addressing needs and concerns of people from the motherland, there will always be problems.
Yeah.
So, right now, it's really up to them when they're gonna, come around and, like I said, heed the word of His Majesty.
I've kicked down the door and going.
Because Bob was famous June,
Yeah.
until the philosophy that holds one great superior
Yeah.
and another inferior is permanently
Yeah.
discredited. And a lot of people think it's Bob right. That is His Majesty's speech. And like you rightly said, music is so powerful because a lot of people wouldn't know that speech if Bob had put it into music.
Yes. So more people gravitate to the music more than just.
But again, we have some counterfeits who use the music now. There's some, them want selfish gains. You see it. And I use music, corrupt the minds of the youth. And I said, this a kind of person, them are this a kind of, and them are that kind of, and them are this and that.
They don't do anything.
You see it? And them have money and all kind of things. But they are murderers. And the worst thing you can do is when you murder the mind of people. And when you can influence people to fight each other, shoot each other with music, and disrespect women until it become the norm. You're doing a great injustice too.
You give a white man a gun, he go turn it on black people. They're famous for that. They find some crowd with black people together and give a black man a gun, him go and turn it on his own kind. It don't have to be like that. But that's what I see. It don't have to be like that, brothers. Think. Because they're not trying to use the same tactics on the motherland. Because people in our wants. You just dangle some cash and give them some booze and them go. Just 3-4 weeks ago, they put some jihadists in a truck with goods and send them across, send them out to do wrong at the neighborhood and to for some cash. You do that, upstir what is good, just because they want us attacking them. They will do, and these are the things that people do. Well, the table turn up. It's one thing that happened in Morocco. The dark agent can't just walk in Africa. They need it. I didn't know. Look, sometimes you have to think about diplomacy. They took how many millions worth of fee for Africans paid for visa, where they don't refund. Once they collect that money, they don't refund you the money. You're not getting a visa. And they don't refund. So Morocco closed the door. All right. That's what you want to play. Yeah. How about you? You coming up? You got to get a visa. So you have to play them the game with the cards they deal you. You got to give them the same cards. Yes. No, you have to do what you don't give them your things. Because you have so much gold, they're not giving you back your gold. Germany gave America them gold, and they want back them gold. It takes 7 years before they start paying. Africa. Why you have to keep my, why me can't keep gold on my yard? No. All I know, technology is not only for one race. talent comes from all about. And the greatest talent was the birth of Christ. The greatest talent it was ever seen from the beginning. And at this the racism starts from the birth of Christ. Because his mother and father look different. They wouldn't rent him no place. So the man tell him, say, oh, one little room round about there, we can't stay in because it looks like snow that. I asked him. But that was okay. I don't mind do that. I said, I need a room for you know what I mean? Well, and he got through and he did all of that. Yeah, but when he started to perform miracle now, things change. Oh, they want to claim the wondrous and great works performed, but yet still you wouldn't allow this man to live. But you want to claim the great works, that is your work. You are ashamed of your past, what you do. And you try to paint yourself so good. Oh God. Bucky Master, so good. Oh God, God nasty. Well, the time for the table turning has come. It's here. So I'll just sit back and eat no popcorn and watch what I do. Poor Canada. Yeah. Because it's only just begun. Ain't no over yet. Don't move a muscle. Yeah.
Well, as we addressing the issue concerning Africa, we want to come a little closer to home, talking about Jamaica, what we see happening in Africa. Things happening in Jamaica. We have real problems in Jamaica. How are we going to solve them? We have real problems. Yeah.
Drove out a plane, man.
So, as we sit here and we discuss, the problems that faces Africa, we see in Jamaica where we have, a lot of problems across the board. And we have to make the adjustments. We have to find the solution. How are we going to do it? We can't just focus on Africa alone. Because a lot of us migrate from Jamaica, immigrate from Jamaica. A lot of us has been back. Some of us haven't been back. And some of us would like to go back. And find it hard to go back.
Because you're not welcome.
What is the solution? Because we have so-called leaders in Jamaica who are just as worse than black leaders in African countries. Who also have, embellished their pockets of the blood, sweat, and tears of Jamaica. And has led the Jamaican catastrophic path in a lot of ways. So we want to know what it's going to take. Because Because right now, in Jamaica, we have the number one problem that plagues us. It's crime and violence in Jamaica.
Against foreigners, returning residents.
Not just against returning residents, but also people who live in Jamaica.
Returning residents.
You know, how are we going to bring that to, we're going to get that under control. If there are proposals being made by which we can do it, are we willing, or would the Jamaican to embrace those proposals? Because where crime and violence is concerned in Jamaica, we see where the Jamaica Constabulary Force has been taking out certain elements on a very frequent basis. But that cannot only be the solution. That is just one part of the equation. There has to be other ways and means by which to deal with the situation. Because we think that we can just kill out all the so-called bad man, then we have an next case coming.
Well, you have to do like Father. You have to do like Father Ibrahim Traore. You can't pet. You can't nourish and pet criminals. No, you can't. You have to do like what Traore do. Give them hard labor. Make the youth them see, all right, you want to go that way then? Well, so we are going to deal with them. You can't have people who do wrong, no, people who do right. Get up on. No, make them do something. Repent them ways so they can't change. You have them lock up every day. Them the powerful and that and then you take hard working people tax money and feed them. All them to change. Yeah, tell themselves, man, get fat and come back on the road and do the same thing again. But get if you give them the whip and give them the park and give them a year now. See them say Babylon really is the chain and I use them. They don't want you to rise, so they would endorse their tactics. Them tactics that them use. Them don't want you to rise, so they would. Meaning, they make the black man to free. All right. Back in them system. When crime coming, them give you 1 yard labor and possible lash you in and lash you out. When you're going in, you get lashes. Or you're leaving. But them used to do it so bad that them take them kind of treatment away because it was inhumane. But it seems as if sometimes if you save the rod, you spoil the child. So there's the thing now. The man knows him do him wrong and him not have nothing, he can't just sit down on the rock. Cold ground in bed last night and rock so he can't do it. But if you like give him some work to do, that next situation him think about before him go to perpetrate.
So what you're saying, the youth in Jamaica, they need more work?
No. Father Ibrahim Traore, this is what he did.
Okay. So what do we need to do in Jamaica?
Let me say Father Ibrahim Traore, this was what he did. Him take them out, go work them from 69 morning and carry them back.
So what do you think is the solution?
Put them on the farm, make them plant.
In Jamaica.
No, in a film country, that's the on the playbook.
Oh.
So in on the playbook, make them go on the farm.
So in Jamaica.
Make them go on the farm.
Okay. They said teach them more about farm work.
No, teach, make them turn them over to the agriculture ministry, make them work. So them can't eat all of them white, because them can't eat all the food.
But the youths in Jamaica, they're not interested in that.
No, when they're interested in the crime, when them do the crime and they
want to do the time.
They want to do the time. You take them out to the farm.
Okay.
And then that will divert them.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a bad situation?
Hard labor.
And that Father Ibrahim do them dog away from there.
Okay.
Well,
Sorry for them.
you know,
Sorry for them. They're sorry for you?
well, it's gonna take more than that, you know.
Well, that is something.
It's gonna take.
That is something.
It's gonna take much more than
More than
that.
talking, yes.
And you know, we have to create a different mindset.
Well, come up with something better than that.
We have to create a different mindset. And Michael Manley had set us on the right trajectory, but he was derailed. But we can come up with a more organically tailored solution that best fits the needs of the Jamaican.
So in the time we come up with this solution,
Now,
let's try this for starting and see within a year time. If you start start it off and see. You have the Ministry of Agriculture. You have some young youth who are starting agriculture from school before them advance further in agriculture. So them know about. So now, when somebody commit themselves, they call the section community service. Instead of have them locked up, not doing something, you train them how to be industrial, productive and industrial at the same time. Give them a mindset, give them something where they're gonna learn at the same time. You give them some other vocational skill, but use agriculture as a driving force. You put something in the earth and it will pay you back. When I go and be chocolate or whatever, you let them plant, some farmer catch crop and cash in, you don't see it. So then, because this one, you have to extract from the population, from the good people to take care of these who commit crime against the civilized people. And you treat them, you try to best keep them and keep. But what about letting them earn their keeps? What's so wrong about that?
Wrong with that. Hard labor.
So I don't see these guys that say them are leader and they want to do. I see this man trying to not, and it works. So you take a page of them, then you have 100 you have 3 you chop them up in a county and whatever the county can produce, you use the penal system who commit themselves and use the community service system to let them contribute to the community back to society. I don't see if you have to agree with them. That would be my take. You know, I don't see anything wrong with that, but better to try that rather than waiting for our next solution. I'm not saying people, since as them not do it before them commit crime. When them commit And why you sit down and have people? Make them work for them kids. Give them something to do.
We need a total makeover, within the Constitution.
Well, if we have to do that, if we have to make over the Constitution.
And like I said, we have to change the mindset of the people. We have to start with the youth from as early as maybe 6, 7, 8 years old. And how we go about doing that is, one of the ways to do that is, if the leaders are smart, each year they would go through the schools and do what is called a draft, a professional draft, where based on your performance, we can recognize your ability and we draft you for certain professions. So, say we want 100 doctors, 50 engineers, 100 teachers. Those people, that's what they would be assigned to.
I would think 12 would be the age of a youngster. By the time they reach becoming going into being a teenager.
Now the aim is that by the time you reach 15 years old, you should be fully developed, skilled person.
You can try that.
Because we can kill out what I'm saying, we can kill out the idea of people being bad. You have to reconstruct the mind. That is something that people have to start wanting to do. Finding self-dignity, self-worth, patriotism.
It begins at the age of
So, by the time you reach a certain age, you can pull down a car, put it back together. You can run some light, you can lay some blocks.
So there would be,
By the time you reach 15 years old, fully fledged profession, skill.
what I'm trying.
Another thing that we have to raise,
I do not disagree with you.
another thing we have to raise to the society is the status, class status. Vibration. Come with more equality, Yes, because Jamaica should be for Jamaicans, and the resources of Jamaica should be for all Jamaicans. And until we can start putting discipline, because Jamaican people like to talk about discipline and we like to talk this and that, but Jamaican people is pretty much immune to discipline.
Not all. Not all.
And that go for all the politicians them too. As me have a different vibration towards all of that. Because I don't see the need for no politicians. Because Jamaica fought the revolution in 1831 and chased out the English. Now, in the name of His Majesty, did we get to a point where we killing each other? Just think about it.
Because of illiteracy.
How did we get to that point?
Because of illiteracy.
Now, two things, two divine forces have been placed upon us, which is politics and religion. Until we can clear that out and bring back the people together as one. You know, one people, one nation, love and respect for all. Then we're going to always have a problem we'll face with.
You touch a very good point, you know, when you talk about the first rebellion with the Maroons and the Redcoats. That means Nani and the. But what I get to realize in those days, these people that fought the rebellion, they could not read. And they had no knowledge of diplomacy. They know something to deal with the member.
Let me guess. You're thinking about going to therapy. And as a therapist myself, of course I'm going to say that's a great idea. But first, let's talk about the things they don't tell you. First of all, you're going to say, I'm fine. Like 300 times. Spoiler alert, your therapist will see right through that.
And how does that make you feel?
Yes, they actually use this phrase. And yes, they actually want to know the answer. Then there's the crying. Like 1 minute you're talking about your race that you got at work, and then the next minute you're talking about how when you were 6 years old, your mom left you in the aisle in the grocery store because she went to the next aisle to get some milk because she thought that you were right there next to her. Come to find out, that's when your abandonment issue started. And homework. Yes, there's homework. But here's the thing. By the end of it, therapy can actually make you feel better. And you'll be like, why didn't I start this sooner?
I chose Wix for my business because of its massive scope for functionality and freedom of creation. Being able to integrate and change and develop at my own pace. I offer a range of products and services. To manage it all from one place is essential. It gave me time back in my day to get going on actual projects. It really just made everything feel more achievable.
Joining me now is one of the finest thinkers of his generation, best-selling author Douglas Murray. Douglas, we've got plenty to discuss today. Let's start with Bono, the preachy U2 frontman with a history of questionable tax arrangements. He's had some thoughts about USAID.
It's not proven, but their surveillance enough suggests 300,000 people have already died from just this cut-off, this hard cut of USAID.
Douglas, we've got Bill Gates also making all sorts of bold claims. He's saying millions of deaths. So will this sort of advocacy for USAID have any effect?
No, it won't. I think as far as we know, the judgment of Elon Musk, the Doge team, and indeed President Trump was that they looked under the bonnet of what was there at USAID, looked to see if there was anything worth salvageable, and decided that the whole thing was so rotten and there was so much unaccountability that it just wasn't worth saving, it was worth scrapping. I'm always loath to hear from Bono pretty much about any subject other than singing with U2, which he's great at. But whenever somebody like him talks like this, they always seem to forget this isn't their money to give away. To his credit, Bill Gates says that he's going to give away his money and give it away to Africa. And we'll see if he does that. But when Bono speaks like this, he seems to forget this isn't just the sort of free money from something. This is money that American taxpayers work for and hand over to the federal government to be well used. And the fact is that USAID's money was not well used. It was an incredibly political entity with, as I say, very little accountability. It just hosed the money out, particularly toward the end of Biden's time in office, if you can say he was actually in office. It just hosed money out because they want to be able to demonstrate that they're giving out money. Well, I'd rather see that they're actually doing some good with that money. But yes, it's very easy for people like Bono to be very generous with other people's money.
Yes, I think people's eyes have been opened to the sort of activism USAID was funding around the world, as so many of these movements were wondering where are they getting the money from? Where's this organic sort of grassroots movement? It never was that. It was taxpayers unwittingly funding this madness. Now, Douglas, it's happened again. Keir Starmer is again tweeting like he's Donald Trump, an angry Donald Trump, who posted, "You have every right to be angry about small boat crossings. I'm angry too." And he's promised all sorts of action there. But Douglas, the number of people claiming asylum in the UK in the past year in 2024 was the highest since records began. They're not really doing much to solve this issue.
No, I mean, Keir Starmer says, in a tweet, "I'm angry," in order to try to placate the actual, real anger of the British public, who just, whether it's Conservative or Labour, the migration just keeps going up and up endlessly. So that just illegal boat crossings across the Channel in a single day again the other day were about 1,100 people. More than 1,000 people arriving illegally in a day. I mean, what's the point of having laws? What's the point of even pretending you have borders, let alone pretending that you're angry when they're being infringed, when they're being infringed every single day, when the law is being made to look like an ass every single day? And if Starmer actually wants to demonstrate that he feels angry about this, he shouldn't just send out a tweet. He should start the forced deportation of the hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people who have broken into the UK illegally. Is he going to do that?
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
Probably unlikely. Staying in the UK, one has to ask, does the country now have quasi-blasphemy laws, or perhaps I should just call them blasphemy laws? We have a man who burnt a copy of the Quran, his own copy, and shouted in Turkish that Islam is religion of terrorism. Well, Douglas has been convicted of a religiously aggravated public order offence and fined.
You're completely right, Rita. This is simply a blasphemy law. If somebody were to set light to a Bible, everybody would be running out saying this man has an absolute right to do so. The churches would be falling over themselves to demonstrate it. It would probably win the Turner Prize or some other art prize for being so daring. But no, the holy book of modern Britain, as so many other Western democracies now, is the Quran. It's the holy book in that even the people who've never opened it and don't know what's in it know that that is the thing that has to be protected. So whether you're an autistic school child in the north of England who accidentally drops the Quran on the floor, that child's mother will have to sit in front of effectively a Sharia council and beg for the life of her child in Britain in the 21st century. If you're a school teacher in Batley and some deranged, semi-educated parent alleges that a teacher has said something blasphemous about Islam, then that teacher goes into hiding and is still in hiding to this day. And if you burn a Quran, it turns out that's the holy book, that's the thing you mustn't touch. It's not just a blasphemy law. It's a blasphemy law that the state is allowing to be pushed through by threat of force. Because nobody is doing an argument here, There's no good argument for why the Quran has to be treated as the holiest of holy books. No, it's only that intimidation, violence, and thuggery seems to work. And I thought that was the sort of thing that the law was there to protect us against.
Absolutely. Now let's go to the US, and you've written in The Spectator about the derangement of Harvard. The Ivy League college is currently at war with the Trump administration. We had those more than 30 Harvard University student organisations signing a letter, Douglas, literally whilst October 7 victims were still being uncovered, blaming the Israeli regime entirely for the unfolding violence. Tell me what's happening at Harvard. How did this prestigious Ivy League college become such a hotbed of hatred and hostility?
Well, it's well documented. As you said, Rita, the students at places like Harvard from the 7th of October 2023 onwards were making it clear which side they were on. They were saying in a joint letter written on the 7th of October that the Israeli government, not Hamas, the Israeli government was responsible for all violence. And since then, students at Harvard and other elite universities have been allowed to rampage across university, shut down student accommodations and places of study, intimidate and beat up employees, and basically act as low-level copycats of the thugs of Hamas that they seem to admire so much. But the real thing is, Rita, we should all congratulate these students at Harvard and Princeton and Columbia and elsewhere. Congratulations to them. They've spent the last 18 or so months calling for the Intifada, the uprising, violent terrorist uprising, to be globalized. And well done, guys, you've got your way. Because not only do you have 2 people shot in the streets of Washington, D.C. on suspicion of being Jewish, you now have in Colorado Islamist supporters of Hamas trying to burn to death Jewish people who are trying to call for the peaceful release of the hostages still being held by Hamas in Gaza. So well done, students at Harvard. Well done, all the students at Princeton and Yale and the rest of them. You're getting your globalized intifada. I hope you love it.
Well, we have seen that shocking rise in anti-Semitic violence in the US. The 2 incidents you mentioned, and just a short time before that, a matter of weeks, we had a governor's house burnt down. It's just such an escalation. And yet, Douglas, if it was a right-wing movement behind these acts, one after another, I would imagine the reaction would be a little bit more serious than what we're getting here, because these are targeted attacks. They are an acts of domestic terrorism. And I wonder whether the authorities are looking at them as seriously as they should.
Well, we've got equivalents we can pull out. I mean, how many years was it now? 6 years ago or so since Jussie Smollett. Remember him, a low-grade actor in America, claimed that in the middle of the night in Chicago, he had been assaulted by 2 MAGA Trump supporters and racially abused, and had a noose put around his neck and poison thrown at him, and all sorts of other things. And he just made this allegation, which of course turned out to be a total crock. He'd hired 2 big black Nigerian guys to be the local white supremacist MAGA people. But anyway, remember when Jussie Smollett pulled that fake hoax hate crime? Within hours, every leading Democrat, Kamala Harris, all these Hollywood people, all the talk show hosts, all said we have to have a reckoning as a country that this could happen here, that low-grade actors could be assaulted by people they've hired from Nigeria to fake hate crime. Oh, we've got to have a national rethink of everything, guys. But when real things are happening in real time, and the object of the hate is Jews, no, because Jews aren't one of the cool minorities in the left-wing intersectional world. And you know what's not cool with them either? Is reality. They're fine talking up the fakes and the hoaxes and the ghouls and the banshees that they imagine are lingering everywhere. But when reality is right in front of them, they'll continue to do everything they can to avoid it.
And we've seen the media use some very imaginative words. Instead of saying Jews or pro-Israel, I think one of them was pro-Gaza hostage release activists. There was some bizarre wording that NBC used. Before you go, just on Harvard, the university's tolerance for anti-Semitism and anti-Israeli sentiment seems boundless. In recent days, we heard another speech at a Harvard graduation ceremony, this time by Zara Imam, again, all about Palestine.
There are no safe zones left in Gaza after 600 days and 77 years of genocide. I center Palestine today not just because of its scale of atrocity, but because of our complicity in it. Together, We must refuse to be ruled by the tyrants of our time because our liberations are intertwined.
There you go, Douglas. 77 years of genocide. These are the best and brightest. These are Harvard graduates.
Yeah, she obviously doesn't have a dog in that fight, does she? She's covered in her fear and so on. As I mentioned in the Spectator last week, one of the many interesting things is the toxic mix we see here of real bigotry and real hatred, real sectarianism, as displayed by that young woman there, and all the time, with the fatal additional mixtures to the cocktail of fanatical ignorance and narcissism. And the narcissism is, who do you think you are? You're a student at Harvard, you're one of the luckiest kids in one of the luckiest generations of all time, and you seem to be under the impression that the war in the Middle East that Hamas started is somehow being directed from Harvard University. And I've got news for those students. Neither Hamas nor the Israeli government take any direction from Harvard University or any other privileged Ivy League campus. There's a world beyond the end of your own nose. And these students haven't been taught that. They haven't been taught anything. They certainly haven't been taught any humility. And so, no, they think that the world is going to be run on their terms. Well, the sooner they grow up and learn otherwise, the better. But in the meantime, yes, they'll just continue this toxic cocktail of advocacy, endless prejudice against people they feel able to be prejudiced against, and wild, wild narcissism.
Douglas Murray, beautifully said. Thank you so much for your time tonight.
Great pleasure as always.
Rain, make it rain, girl, make it.
Apartment 2B?
2B! She's definitely using that Grubhub deal from Amazon.
Oh, yeah.
Amazon Prime member? You can get $0 delivery fees on Grubhub. Eligible orders only. Terms and additional fees apply.
Let me tell you about a guy I know, Mark Levine. Él siempre da la pelea, y él no se rinde. Mark founded a community development credit union to help families in the neighborhood. He took on corporate landlords to lower the cost of housing and to protect tenants. As comptroller, Mark Levine will do whatever it takes to make New York more affordable. Yo sé porque eres mi papá.
Paid for by Mark Levine, 2025.
And it's time for Lefties Losing It. I don't know how to apologise for what I'm about to show you, but just know this hurts me as much as it's going to hurt you. Let's have a look at Trump-deranged Rosie O'Donnell, who has fled the country because of POTUS, but she has returned from Ireland to film this hot mess for Sex and the City spin-off, Just Like That. Enough talking, let's just dive right in.
It felt so, I don't know, electric, and yet still so natural. I never dreamed my first time could be both those things.
First time?
Mm-hmm.
You were a virgin?
Yes, I'm a nun.
Yes, that was Rosie O'Donnell playing a virgin nun called Mary, who ends up in bed with Miranda, played by Cynthia Nixon, the worst character on Sex and the City, I think you'll agree. And that show jumped the shark many, many moons ago. But at least Rosie O'Donnell and Cynthia Nixon could share their deranged hatred of Trump together in between takes. Both are ardent Trump haters and mothers of non-binary or trans children. Remember, Cynthia Nixon boasted about having her daughter's healthy breasts removed. They call it top surgery.
My trans kid had his top surgery at NYU a number of years ago. Wow. His doctors were fantastic. His surgeon was the best we could have imagined.
It's time to check in with Joe Biden. The former president has his good days and he has his bad days, but Every day is a delusional day. Listen to this.
And there's also been a lot of discussion recently about your mental and physical capabilities while you were in office.
You can see that. I'm mentally incompetent, and I can't walk, and I can beat the hell out of both of them.
Well, do you want to reply to any of those reports, and also to the fact that there are some Democrats who are now questioning whether you should have run for re-election in the first place?
Why didn't they run against me then? Because I'd have beaten them.
Do you have any regrets?
No, I don't have any regrets.
Now, Elon Musk has had enough of his fellow billionaires talking trash. Listen here as he gives Bill Gates an almighty spray. After Gates made all sorts of unfounded claims about USAID, he starts by calling Gates a liar.
He's a huge liar.
I know, you've said that already. I wondered, and I'm just...
Who does Bill Gates think he is to make comments about the welfare of children, given that he frequented Jeffrey Epstein?
Okay, well, he said he regrets those, and he spent a lot of his own money on philanthropy around the world over the years. My question to you is: have you looked at the data to check if he might be right that the cuts to USAID might cost millions of lives?
Yes. I'd like him to show us any evidence whatsoever.
None whatsoever. And Bono, you know him from U2, he was making the same BS claims on Joe Rogan, and Rogan was not having it.
Just recent report. It's not proven, but the surveillance enough suggests 300,000 people have already died from just this cut off, this hard cut of USAID.
The problem is, for sure, there have been a lot of organizations that do tremendous good all throughout the world. Also, for sure, it was a money laundering operation. For sure, there was no oversight. For sure, billions of dollars are missing. In fact, trillions that are unaccounted for, that were sent off into various... They don't even know where because there's no receipts. The way Elon Musk described it, he said if any of this was done by a public company, the company would be delisted and the executives would be in prison. But in the United States, this is standard. When Biden left office, when it was clear that Trump won, in the 73 days, they spent $93 billion from the Department of Energy on just radical loans, just throwing money into places. Right. And there's no oversight.
Well, folks, it's June, and that means it's Pride Month, and they started celebrating early in West Hollywood. Not sure that's suitable for young kids in the audience there, but it's not just the public nudity, it's the corporate virtue signalling we're going to see in the coming weeks. Yes, a whole month of far-left foolishness, but for some, it's never enough. Watch this Karen whine about Target getting rid of their LGBTQIA++ display and replacing it with a pro-American one.
Happy Pride Month. In my Target that used to have the Pride section, it's now all USA. Yay! USA! Woo! And honestly, my dad serves the military, and I'd love to be really proud of this nation, but it's hard to be proud of it under Donald Trump. But hey, you know, while you're here, pick up a USA bikini. You know, why not? Yeah, Target's really taken this anti-DEI thing to another level.
Oh dear, God forbid anyone should have pride in their country. I'm sure your granddad risked his life so Target could sell breast binders to young girls. Let's bring in Sky News contributor Kosha Gator. Kosha, there's been a cultural shift in the US. It's undoubted. And are we going to see things like Pride Month marked differently from the corporate world? Are we going to have the same sort of activism and enthusiasm as we have seen in previous years?
Seemingly not. It looks like we have finally broken the camel's back on this issue. It almost descended as quickly, you blinked and you missed it as it ascended just in the last 5 years. And you see, the Silicon Valley titans and the high finance people and cultural icons all coming out and endorsing Trump in this election, everything sort of trickles down from that, I think, and you haven't seen mass backlash or young people rioting and leaving their high-paying Silicon Valley jobs or New York jobs or anything like that. You don't see corporations putting the little black square, little rainbow square on their LinkedIn profile, so maybe we are past the worst, dare I say.
I think the corporates are seeing there is actually a price to pay, and it's probably a bit more clever to be apolitical and not alienate at least a portion of your customer base, a significant portion. And I think the USAID really exposed just how much of this far-left activism, this far-left movement, was funded unwittingly by taxpayers. It wasn't just some organic grassroots movement.
That's been one of so many examples of just, as much as we know what's going on in the culture, there's so much more. And when you think you've got the whole picture, there's yet more that we don't know. USAID was about $50 billion a year in spending. That's like $1 billion a week. It's not a small amount. And even worse, as you say, because more than the money and the wastage financially, what it was doing domestically and all around the world. And it's completely been gutted. 90% of contracts have been terminated. Yes, it was challenged in court. There are a few challenges still working its way up. But by and large, this organization has been fundamentally changed. And I think everybody is for the better. And maybe we can do something with that taxpayer money.
Yeah, people's eyes have been opened. Even those of us who are very engaged in this space, I was shocked by the money that was being spent, taxpayers' money all around the world pushing this far-left activism. Bizarre use of taxpayers' money. And whilst we're talking about USAID, Elon Musk, the man who was responsible for cutting so much of that waste and fraud, well, he had some parting words for members of the media, pointing out that they are the ones responsible for so many of the slings and arrows that have come his way, and they are discredited.
The president mentioned that you had to deal with all the slings and arrows during your time at Doge. There's this.
Well, some of the people, some of the media organizations in this room are the slingers.
Well, so there is a New York Times report today that accuses you of blurring the line between.
Is the New York Times, is that the same publication that got a Pulitzer Prize for false reporting on the Russiagate? Is it the same organization?
I got to check my Pulitzer account.
It is. I think the judge just ruled against the New York Times for their lies about the Russiagate hoax, and that they might have to give back that Pulitzer Prize. That New York Times, let's move on.
And we've seen this from the Trump administration across the board almost, whether it's Hegseth, whether it's Rubio, Musk there, who isn't a politician, but he had a fairly significant role. They are just hitting back the media hard. They've taken on Trump's attitude towards the media, and you've got to say it's pretty effective.
For sure, it's not your grandmother's Republican Party, as they say, and this whole group, starting with Trump, leading, he really showed people how to fight. And when things go as bad as they've gone, kind of past nice manners and niceties and all those things we saw from John McCain and Mitt Romney and even Ronald Reagan. It was just a different world that we're living in. And here you've got to be willing to roll up your sleeves and fight. And they kind of relish it. So it's not everybody's cup of tea. You always run into people who don't like it or wish the demeanor would be different. But I think it's very effective. And a lot of people actually do.
If they want to go back to the GOP of Mitt Romney or McCain, well, good luck to them, because that's the GOP of losers, and those days are over. The voters have no appetite for that, so never mind whether Trump's there or not. The voters don't want that. They don't want to have polite losers. Now, we saw the way the media treated Elon Musk after his salute from the heart. They were calling him a Nazi, saying he was doing some sort of a Heil Hitler salute, which was just so dishonest. Well, Democrat Cory Booker did something pretty much exactly the same in the last couple of days, and there was no condemnation, no accusations. Many didn't even report on it. And Kosha, I guess this goes to the point of why they feel like the media deserves to be treated with disdain, because it's just discredited itself.
Time and again, and when you think they can't sink any lower, you see these examples. And it's not even about hypocrisy, it's about hierarchy. So Cory Booker, you see, is higher in the totem pole, where he gets extra protections that the other side doesn't. There's many people who've done this. And I think the good thing is that media has been democratized because of the internet and social media, that these clips do get out there, other programs like yours and the social media covers it, and that just further delegitimizes the mainstream media unless they wise up to that, but they don't seem to be doing it thus far.
And sticking with the media, yesterday we had CNN claiming that the Colorado terror attack was carried out by a white man, and here we have NBC going to great lengths not to use the words like Jews or even pro-Israel, calling the victims of the attack Gaza hostage awareness marches. I mean, really, Kosha.
If the backdrop wasn't as tragic, like it's almost funny. And they really are the kings and queens of linguistics. They always have been. So you have the Gaza awareness marchers, you had the Maryland Dad, that famous case, and even back in during then President Obama and Hillary Clinton's, I'm reminded of the story of the terrorist attack in Colombo, Sri Lanka, on Easter Sunday, and both of them referred to them as Easter worshippers because they couldn't use the word Christians on Easter Sunday. So they're very aware of words and which words they use, which words they don't use. But again, to your point earlier, in this day and age of podcasts and media and social media, we all are discussing it and seeing right through it. So I just think it's a losing strategy, but they seem to be addicted to it.
Now, in recent weeks, we've had a governor's house firebombed. We've had 2 Israeli embassy workers murdered in cold blood. And now this attack in Colorado, several pro-Israel protesters set alight, badly hurt. If there was a right-wing group or movement behind these sorts of attacks, it would be leading news coverage all around the world. It would all be as such a crisis that needs to be addressed. But it seems like we've got a fairly permissive attitude when it comes to violence from the left. We saw that throughout the BLM riots, and we're seeing it again with this anti-Israeli movement.
It feels like it's the next dimension on this continuum where we talked at the top about culture and the culture is shifting and corporates aren't virtue signaling as much. And we've talked about the media losing its potency and legitimacy because we can all see through their games. And now this is where it gets really serious, where it's actual violence taking place. And that double standard again still continues. And as you say, BLM or even the Antifa riots before that in Portland and elsewhere. So this feels like the last frontier. If the right can somehow crack this and just reclaim the narrative around that, which they're doing, the current administration in terms of their law and order agenda, that will be another big win in this continuum that we're on.
And we see that everywhere. There was Antifa, you mentioned. There was some violence in California where they were there to protest against, I think, some Christians who were gathering. And we see it right here in Australia when we have the Let Women Speak marches. And there's always some sort of a counter-protest because they're not allowed to speak without the far-left activists disrupting them. On Colorado, there's been a lot of commentary in the past 24 hours about this image summing up the modern Democrat Party. Let's have a look at it. Kosha, what do you say to this? There's a lot happening in that picture.
Oh my goodness, I could say modern Democrat Party in an AI simulator and I don't think it would come out very different from that. You've got the flag in the background, it's like perfectly framed in the middle. You have this violent person and this the heinous acts he committed. He's shirtless, he's not in particularly good shape, he's an illegal immigrant, throwing a Molotov cocktail, and I think it does sum it up, everything we just talked about, the cultural virtue signaling, the way the media is covering it, and then the violence from the left that's been getting away, but not for long. We'll see what's going to happen. Some judge is likely going to block his deportation, but cases like this only help the cause politically on the other side because these are not sympathetic figures.
And Trump's made that point. The Mohammed Solomon, the alleged attacker there, is an Egyptian national in the US illegally. He's overstayed his visa, entered the US during the Biden administration, sought asylum in 2022, was granted the right to work. Is the Biden administration in any way to blame for this? So they let millions through, unvetted, and you're going to get characters like this amongst them.
100%. I think this really personifies what we know. So we know the numbers and the ridiculous 11 million plus that were allowed to pour in through 4 years. And then the particulars of this case where he was caught even by the ICE agents in the Biden administration, but was let go because that was the policy, catch and release. And then he was rewarded with legal work access, even though he overstayed his visa. So you're just creating magnets and rewarding. So every issue that we talk about all gets personified in this case, and then he goes and does what he did. So it really just puts a a huge red line, I think, under this issue in a way that had never happened before, and hopefully the current administration can take advantage of that momentum and do something about it.
Now, before you go, we talked about that cultural shift across the US. Let's have a look at another example of that. This is something we wouldn't have seen a few years ago, certainly wouldn't have seen it in Trump's first term. Watch here as football legends and current Pittsburgh Steelers stars pay tribute to Donald Trump in Pennsylvania.
I'd like to present this to a Hall of Fame president. Please accept it.
How about this president of ours, huh? Just wanted to say God bless you, President Trump, and God bless you, Pittsburgh.
Now, that was Pittsburgh Steelers legend and Vietnam War vet Rocky Blair and current quarterback Mason Rudolph and defensive back Miles Killebrew. I mean, that is something we wouldn't have seen, Kosha, just a few years ago. Those players, current players, would have been cancelled. There would have been all sorts of uproar. No one really was bothered by any of that. I didn't see too much backlash at all.
So true. You know, there's that old adage, I think, attributed to Andrew Breitbart, that politics is downstream from culture. Every once in a while, in a case like Donald Trump, who's very unique, it almost feels like culture is downstream from politics, and just his whole